Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI Live Noding. In this episode, we're gonna do like a little bit of like curve explorations in Blender. We'll see a couple of ways we can kind of remesh a curve, and let's see. And then there's also one example here where I'm kind of extruding the curve randomly. So this is all still made originally from curve, and actually I started with a grease pencil, and I kind of like the curve because the curve itself is always kind of like live. You can always go to edit mode and then kind of edit the curve, so I like that idea. I want to show like the whole kind of thinking behind the curve and how you can work on it inside Sverchok. So let's get started. File, save as Sverchok curve exploration. So I'll start with a grease pencil because I like to start with a grease pencil. There's like some kind of free form. This is like user input, so I'm gonna make some kind of like a blob, and I gotta stop right there. I'm not gonna connect it. We're gonna fix that later on in Sverchok. So with that guy, we can convert grease pencil into Bezier curve, and we don't have anything funky here. I wish there's some kind of resampling that we can do, but we don't have it. That's okay. I'm gonna save it, delete the grease pencil, and we have this curve. And we know very much that grease pencil converted to curve is very dense. So if we select it and then edit, you see that's a lot of points, and they are too dense to work with, and I don't like it. I kind of want to simplify the curve always. There should be like a process to do this easily, but it's okay. We can kind of practice our resampling method. So this is, we know already, we can use vector interpolation, MK3, plug in the curve, view, view draw. This is the output, and we have these points that kind of traveling along the curve. We can use range float 0 to 1, plug into this T, and then we can kind of make resample the curve itself. And if you want to make it smoother, you can do it a bit later, or you can, yeah, I think you can do it a bit later. Here you can also turn on cyclic. Turn on cyclic, make it a cubic or linear, up to you. The output is something we can use to get the curve. Okay, currently that's the output. I'll turn on N-Gon's tessellation. Now we can see the resulting mesh or curve. What I'm thinking to do is to kind of bake it out, this guy, so we have like a cleaner looking curve that we can work with. Let me find a good number for this. Around 42 is pretty good. Linear or cubic? I know this, we want it to be cyclic. And slice, do we need slice? Okay, slice. Oh no, we don't need slice, but we want cycle. No. Copy, huh? That's interesting. Let me bake that. So we have this guy, which is a mesh. We can actually output a curve if we use a polyline, or I think polyline is kind of outputting a curve. Yeah, this guy is actually a curve. Let's see, the curve doesn't look smooth, so I'm thinking maybe just output a mesh but we can keep the curve anyway. So this is the mesh output from this guy. It's pretty low res, but we can go to convert this object into curve, and in the curve mode, edit mode, we can switch it to, actually did I do it properly? Okay, convert object to curve. It's this guy. Actually, I want to output edges. Let's do this properly. Bake. So I get this these edges, low res, and then I want to convert to curve. Okay, now this guy is a curve. Go to edit mode, and we can smooth it. We can subdivide with. I want to switch this to nerves. I think nerves make this guy smooth, but I need to also toggle the cyclic. Okay, now we have a nicer curve. Okay, and we can still edit it. So that's the first step, and the next step, I'm gonna make another node 3. Next step, we can, let's see, we can do like a remesh. There's a few things that we can do. First of all, we can just grab this guy, get selections, and then show it here. It doesn't have any kind of a like a fill hole, but maybe I can use a fill hole here. Fill hole edges polygon. Oh, apparently doesn't quite work, unfortunately. Maybe I need to change this guy and into 2D, and then get that object again and source it. Now we actually have the output, but the mesh is too messy like this, and I don't like that. I want to have like a kind of better subdivisions. There is a trick to do that. If you extrude this and add depth, if you add a little bit of extrusion and depth, you can actually remesh this guy, and you get a much better tessellation. So that's a quick technique. But remember that this guy is actually still, there's a bit of surface there that we don't want. So the extrusion, in order to clean that up, we can load this guy, and in here we can turn on post modifier and then merge double. So remove double, kind of get rid of unwanted vertices. That's kind of overlapping anyway. So increase this a little bit, not too much. Okay, there you go. Let me hide this view, top view. Now we have a better tessellation. Maybe we don't need that many, actually, just a little bit. And if I'm not wrong, we can still kind of do a little bit of offset here with a curve. So that's also pretty useful. And then we can update. Cool, so we have this curve. The curve's still alive. We can go to edit mode, make some changes. You can see there's the offset of the curve as well, which is pretty nice. And then now we have a clean mesh that we can use inside Sverchok. So that's I guess that's a pretty good workflow. And then remember, we start from a grease pencil, and then we have like a very dense curve. Now we have like very light and then very efficient curve to work with. And inside Sverchok we can start playing around, like maybe using let's see, there's a few nodes that you can play around with. There's offset, there is inset, spatial. They're all a little bit interesting in itself. Offset actually allow you to generate this kind of mesh. It's almost like wireframe modifier. You can bake that, and we have that kind of result. There's a bit of curve flipping there, maybe can be fixed. And we can also get the inside polygon. So this is kind of the reverse of wireframe modifier. See, this guy is very interesting. You can use it like kind of like a map. You can perhaps like randomize this just a little bit in X and in Y, so you have slight variations there. Not too much, otherwise it's gonna generate like a weird ugly mesh. So that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool, and you can save that. And furthermore, you can, let's see if we can offset this further, just a little bit, not too much. Side radius, okay, radius. See, that's kind of an interesting mesh, even though there we get some error there. Radius maybe not too much, 0. The next thing you can play with, actually let's compare offset and inset. This is inset. Sometimes they are actually kind of similar. Inset is like a little bit like extrusion as well. But I don't know how to explain it with this guy. So that's inset. The distance making it a little bit like extrusion, but if you don't use the distance, is like very similar to offset, except that we have like the inside. So this we can actually use offset together with the inset as well, like something like that. See, that's the inset. Wonder if the inset can go outward like extrusion. It kind of does. It's like a extrude edge as well. Pretty interesting. And then once you use inset, you can use extrude separate faces. So this is another thing you can do, and we can extrude it on the new polygon in the inset. Something to try on. Seems to be having problem here. Maybe we simplify this thing and we don't use the inset, just plug in the offset into extrude separate face. Now this should be a little bit better, interesting looking extrusion. But here we have like the normal flipping issue, so we need to maybe normalize, recalculate normals. So in polygon kind of does it, but still a bit flip, so something to fix. Maybe remove double more. Oh well, that's okay. So we have this guy, and then don't worry about the flipping normal. But with the extrusion, we can actually randomize the height. So random number generator, plug into the height. How many do we have? This one, 5. How many polygon do we have? Just guess. Just increase this number, and then we can see it's changing. Instead of guessing, let's get the length of the polygon face and check with the stethoscope. We have 113. Cool. All right. We can just plug this in to that guy. Randomize the seed. We can actually use noise as well if you like. So here at this point we still have like a live curve here that we can change. You can still model it if you're the user still want to make changes. It's easy. It seems to change the whole surface somehow, maybe because of the remesh. But if we update the curve, you will see Sverchok's gonna update everything procedurally as well. Let's see, seems to be hanging. Maybe just wait a little bit. Seems to be like generating a lot more polygon face. This might take a while, so I think I can end up the live noding video here and then gonna take a snapshot of the result. Yeah, so that's pretty much the exploration of curve. Using Sverchok, we kind of make the curve more efficient, and then there you go, that's done. And then we can generate this kind of geometry. So clean, like a clean curve is important. If you have like too many points, and then it's not gonna be good. It's gonna take a lot longer times, and then Sverchok cannot handle it. Like it's gonna be a little bit messy. So you always have to think about the most efficient way to work with points. Okay, that's pretty much it for this. Hopefully this is useful. If you have any questions, suggestion, any feedback, just let me know, and I'll see you in